Uh, uh, One of the questions I'm asked an awful lot now is that how do you explain to people what it's like not to have a gig for any period of time, especially this what I call this long intermission that's right now over almost a year gone. How do you explain to people what you do or what you feel like or what's going on in your head, although you're not making these gigs after all this time of working like we do constantly?
Yeah.
What do you tell people when they ask you that kind of question?
Well, what I would say to you would be different than what I might say to somebody else because, man, if anybody on the planet knows what music is and what this really involves, it would be you more than anybody I can even think of. I mean, for me, as the years go by, my understanding of the place that music plays in my life is changing in a good way in the sense that I realize music is just kind of the envelope for the thing. And the thing is what matters. And what that is for me is something that is very personal. Um, and also, more and more, and I don't mean this in a snotty kind of way, the audience doesn't matter as much to me in some ways now than maybe it might have before because I feel like I'm in the audience too. I feel like I'm listening too. I'm kind of just part of this thing. And the music itself is, to me, it's really kind of a symptom of something as much as it's a thing.
Hmm.
And it's the way we're all together, the way we're listening to each other, the way that music can reflect so many things in so many different ways to so many different people. And at the same time, I have my own relationship with music
Hmm.
that allows me really quite comfortably to sit in a room and not even play, just think about it and go through the process of what I would go through, on a gig or whatever, and maybe even apply it to like fixing the refrigerator instead or whatever.
Hmm.
To me, the I mean, there's so many things that are amazing about living a life as a musician. One thing I do mention to people is that it's one of the greatest ways to go through life, but it's also one of the most difficult things you can do because music is hard. This is something that doesn't really get talked about that much. To be a musician, especially year after year, session after session, environment after environment, to really negotiate all those things is a very challenging thing. And to me, also incredibly satisfying. But maybe more than that, what music reveals as time goes on for me is really interesting.
Hmm.
And, you know, okay, I've said all that. Yeah, I miss playing gigs. I mean, I love going out and playing. That's what I've been doing, you know, for the vast majority of my life since I was 14 or 15 years old. And, like the experiences of playing with you are like, it's like beyond a dream for me that I'm talking to you now. I mean, I wouldn't be a musician if it wasn't for you. So, I've had this amazing, ride as a musician. And at the same time, the music itself has taught me everything. I mean, I was kind of illiterate getting out of high school because I was just working 6 nights a week from the time I was in ninth or 10th grade. So, I didn't know anything, but through music, I kind of learned about history and science and math and English, kind of, and stuff like that. But it was all through music.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of my main teacher, too.
Hmm. Well, when I get that kind of question, I try to explain to people uh, as a bass player and a band leader. When when I'm on the bandstand, I'm making instant decisions.
Right.
I'm deciding what tune we're going to play. I'm deciding how fast it's going to go. I'm deciding how long the tune is going to last. I'm deciding who's going to play the next solo.
Yep.
I'm deciding how long the solo is going to last. I'm deciding the pitch of the band. And including in that is that what's the best note for this band? How can I get their attention with this rhythm? How can I control the dynamic of the band? And for a year, I haven't had to worry about those things. For a year, I haven't had to be worried about is this too fast for the band, or is this the right order of the set? Or is it now? Do I announce the band's name right now, or do I wait until later? You know, or if I have a gripe with the newspaper not advertising the band, do I announce that with asking the band, is it okay if I say this to the audience? Stuff, and then not to have that responsibility that as a bass player and band leader have, it's kind of taken me out of my zone for a moment because now I'm making decisions on is it time to change that light bulb finally?
I
And, and,
hear you, man.
and I got to buy another broom already after a year. The broom is gone. I mean, stuff that usually I would get to and I would get to it.
Yeah.
Now,
To me, there is a very interesting thing that you kind of touched on too. When we're out on the road like we do, we'll play six different cities in 6 nights. And, okay, it's Sunday night again. I've just been in six different places, have taken X number of bus rides and plane flights to make all those gigs. I've played,
yeah.
3 hours each night in a different place, gotten to the next place. And it's only been a week. I mean, in this period, it's sort of like you said, yeah, maybe I will change that light bulb, but I might do that tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the next thing 3 weeks have gone by and that light bulb is still there. Yeah, maybe this month, is the month I'm going to actually make it over to the heart. I mean, the whole thing of time stretching, of
all
which
gone.
your life is a master class in time, right? I mean, you live time like
Yeah,
maybe no other human ever has in history.
yeah.
You are the time, like, I mean, it's hard to even imagine the amount of timing things you've done in your life, right? To the
Mhm,
micro millisecond
mhm.
in response to this incredible amount of input from Tony and
Yeah,
all these drummers that you've played with. Just, you
great
got to
sound.
make them sound good, and you do beyond anybody's wildest imagination. So your time thing, your relation to time would be in like Einstein category. So for me to hear you say, yeah, maybe today I'm going to change the light bulb, thinking about how that fits with you figuring out like where between Tony and Herbie the quarter note actually is really interesting.